Hi, Nelson. Nelson, are you back yet? Nelson? Nelson? Yeah, hi, no, there's no emergency. He's gone. He's dead. The name is Rudd. Nelson Rudd. My name? Larkspur? Lori Larkspur.
So, on the surface, Chetco's bold announcement may seem like a win-win for consumers, for industry, and for the environment. But there's a deeper, and for some more troubling question. Has the company violated national security by incorporating classified technology into its design? Is it using those secrets to gain an unfair competitive advantage? A number of aerospace and defense insiders tell us that anti-gravity planes and discs have been a reality for more than half a century. But given the draconian secrecy surrounding the programs in which they exist, we may never know the truth. One thing is certain. By making its announcement, Chetco has let at least part of the genie out of the bottle. We who stand to benefit can only hope they don't recork it. Lila.
And that was Jeremy Rudd with his weekly science update.
It's a hole in the dam and it's going to get bigger. They can't make it go away.
If it cuts into ExxonMobil's profits, they'll find a way, trust me. You know, if the people really wanted all this stuff, these anti-gravity planes, and free energy, I assume one needs the other?
I would say, flying saucers don't fly on gas.
Whoa, whoa, back up. Who said anything about flying saucers?
Same principle. And my report never mentioned them. Thanks very much.
Mention flying saucers and you're a crackpot. Immediately, okay? Full stop.
When is that going to change? I mean, is this or is this not why we exist? To cover what the corporate media won't.
I'm not sure it's the right question to be asking. What if the real question is, what should the people know?
Oh my God.
How much do they really want to know? I mean, if all this stuff about UFOs is true, and I believe that some of it is, if our government has treaties with aliens, I mean, who the hell is ready to hear that? I'm not sure that I am. What does that mean for our so-called civilization?
I've never known you to be an apologist for a cover-up.
Well, when it comes to aliens, I may well be.
Rudd? What? When? How? Okay. Can you email me your contact? Wait a minute. Who are you? Larkspur? Like the flower? Yeah, J. Rudd at thepeoplesdigest.com. The People's Digest. Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate your call. My father died.
Jesus.
The old lion's gone. No fuss, just a massive coronary.
So sorry. You didn't get a chance to reconnect.
Oh, that was my fault. He tried more than once. They want me to go out there and sell the estate, whatever that means.
Who's they?
Oh, the trustee, lawyer, and my father's assistant. is Jeremy Rudd.
We're very sorry for your loss, sir.
Thank you.
Are you familiar with our guest guidelines?
Nope.
Jeans and denims are prohibited in all public areas, so is cell phone use. Exercise attire in the gym only.
Okay. Thanks.
Mrs. Delmonico's expecting you. I circled the house on the map.
Take care.
You have a good day.
Solid bronze doors, like a fortress. Well, your father was treasured by this community.
And what did he do to make himself that?
Well, he was just a peach to be around. Considerate, cheerful.
Cheerful. My father?
Oh, his Christmas parties were the highlight of the season. He invited everyone. Staff from the club, friends of friends, his helpers, all mingled here with the elite.
Like who? I'm just curious.
I mean, this very house was built for a great president, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah, he must have been great advertising.
Clubs never needed advertising, Mr. Rudd. And General Eisenhower was a lot more than that. I had the pleasure of meeting him when I was young.
My father was supposedly an Air Force liaison to his National Security Council staff after Korea. Youngest guy in the room.
That tells you a lot, doesn't it?
Like, what?
They trusted him, obviously.
Yes.
What a gem of a house this is. Now, some people prefer the fairway views, but I'm sure you'll agree that the vistas from Valhalla Heights can't be beat.
Beautiful.
Excuse me, Jeremy?
Blue flower. Yeah.
I could have met you at the house.
I haven't quite settled in over there at Valhalla. Thanks for coming. What's in the box?
His ashes.
That was fast.
I can show you where he wanted them scattered. I also brought the permit to dispose.
You need a permit.
You can't just scatter human remains anywhere.
How would anyone know?
I didn't make the rules. Do you mind if I sit down?
Please, come on. Drink?
Sure, that'd be great.
Scotch? I've put quite a dent in the Glenmorangie. Here, take mine, it's fresh.
That was your father's favorite.
Uh-huh. So, you work for him, what, every day, or?
Yeah, whenever he needed me. He also had a housekeeper.
That sounds like a good gig for you.
It was. He was definitely independent, but he valued company. For example, going to the theater.
A lot of good theater out here at Palm Desert.
Do you always write on this?
Oh, yeah, it was a bad habit. Now, unfortunately, I find it prudent.
I hear you. And who the hell wants to get hacked?
My notes are always with me, or stored off-site, never on a computer, even if it's air-gapped.
Smart man. I have the mailbox keys for you and all the security codes. All the sheets in the house should be clean.
Well, don't be offended, I brought my own. I like them starched.
Your father did too. Tell me you didn't know that.
I didn't know that. Or maybe I'm forgetting it. I do remember quite vividly the blue paper in which the sheets came wrapped from the French Laundry. We made kites out of it.
Well, I'll leave you to your writing. It's nice to meet you.
And you too. Thank you. Oh, wait a minute. Good God, I don't want this around. Can we scatter it?
No?
Where are you taking me, Lori Larkspur?
What's with all the questions?
It's my default position. But what do you do when you're not assisting retired Air Force generals? Default.
Computers. A lot of oldsters in this town that can barely push a button. Your dad was one of them.
Helped him with his computer. You need some sort of clearance, see that stuff?
I wasn't allowed to open any documents. That part of his life was off limits. Ask no questions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it all seems pretty loose to me. I would have asked questions, Lori.
I live right over there behind those mountains. The high desert.
For what it's worth, They're all running out of water equally fast. This is it. Something you want to say?
Save it for the memorial. Just goodbye, Nelson.
Goodbye, my father. Goodbye, all my fathers.
$20 years? It's really been that long?
We've had some contact. Some years back, he threatened me with a libel suit if I used his name. A piece I wrote on biological weapons development.
And you used his name?
Oh, yes, I did. And they retaliated. Whoever they are.
Retaliated how?
Well, suffice it to say, I try not to drive. If I have to rent a car like out here, I know exactly what to look for under the hood.
Sounds like an ordeal.
I don't mean to scare you.
Do you tend to do that?
No, I'm normally perfectly congenial. And I'm a very good cook. I'll cook for you sometime, if you're lucky.
Sure. As long as you know that your reputation precedes you.
Which reputation is that?
The whole kit and caboodle, buddy.
Okay. Thank you.
Kit and caboodle, buddy.
Okay.
Sure. As long as you know that your reputation precedes you.
Which reputation is that?
Whole kit and caboodle, buddy.
Okay. Thank you. Nos no una nos abeo una. To the guy who saw it coming and left it for us to clean up.
Welcome to California. How's your game, General?
Could stand improvement.
What'd you shoot today?
I haven't been out yet. I'll let you know when I am.
Well, what'd you shoot last time you were here?
If it weren't for the 11th green, I'd probably have shot an 88.
Where's Mamie?
Well, she'll be out soon. It's a bit early yet. You know how women can be.
Thank you so much for coming. You are making us feel so welcome.
Yes, indeed. And it's great to be back here. Where's this from?
Well, it's part of that side that Moni collected in Chicago.
Of course it is. How many are we tonight?
6.
Just what I like.
Dolores, we're fine for now, but you'll heat the oven at 4.
Yes, Mrs. Eisenhower.
Thanks, Dolores. Seasoning is making me hungry.
Well, how was lunch?
Just swell. Except I hardly felt like going back for another night.
Well, you'll just sit in the car as long as you need to.
Believe you me, that's just what I did. Any calls?
Yes, but they'll wait.
No. I better do Washington before it's too late.
Now, why'd I know you'd say that?
Mr. Secretary, I'll tell you the same thing I told you last autumn. You don't want to be in Vietnam the next 20 years. And you've got congressmen saying these things publicly. It's just making it harder.
We realize that, sir.
Well, untie Westmoreland's hands.
General, this is only partly concerning Indochina. That's the official reason for my call, of course. General, have you heard of the town of Kecksburg in Pennsylvania?
Sure, it's a couple hours from my farm.
There was an incident at Kecksburg some months ago. A crashed object.
A disc?
It was acorn-shaped. Big acorn.
It's a curious shape.
What's also curious, General, is that the craft apparently contained a map. The map apparently contained a marking that could be interpreted as your farm in Gettysburg.
I'm sure that was a misinterpretation.
Perhaps. I don't have all of the details. I was simply asked by the special group to request your clarification.
You think they were coming to visit me?
Why else would they have your address? Figuratively speaking, sir.
Mr. Secretary, I've made it resoundingly clear I want nothing to do with that group.
Is there any room to interpret your position as less than categorical?
None. And if the president wants my advice, have him pick up the phone and call me like he always does, huh?
General, I'm sure you can appreciate that President Johnson has no role in the group at this point.
Which is precisely why I want nothing to do with it. Good evening, Mr. Secretary.
I'm just conveying a request.
Not that dirty business again.
Give him credit for being relentless.
I'm going to close your blinds.
Thank you, darling.
Now, you think you can relax?
I can try.
General.
You never do needlepoint in this room.
Change of pace.
You're like a vision. Divine.
Well, somebody slept well.
I declare something smells scrumptious.
I hope it tastes half as good.
General, I got your jacket and slacks.
That's fine, Moni. I'll dress myself.
I'll leave them in your dressing room, sir.
Thank you. You buy this in town?
I did. Desmond's.
Suits you well. Very je ne sais quoi.
2 hours till guests.
Plenty of time to mount an offensive.
Honey, you're already dressed.
Don't you worry.
Oh. Now, who's that mysterious stranger?
No idea.
Come on, let's go.
I'm glad you could.
No.
Oh, Oh, Thalia, what a lovely Hello.
Very good.
Good Lord, this is like a pound. I'm gonna kill these old boys.
Trust me, these boys like them big.
Well, then I'll oblige him. On your orders.
I used to grill with Nelson all the time.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
And did he... Shit.
It's okay, don't worry. Your dad has plenty of pants like those in his closet. I think he was a 36.
Oh, I'm 34. Thank you. I can barely walk in the son of a bitch's room at this point, to tell you the truth.
What are you so afraid of?
How should I know?
Might do you some good to find out.
Listen, Blue Flower of Valhalla. Office hours are over now.
Okay.
Burgers, ladies and gentlemen. What's another transfusion? Should I mix up a batch?
Absolutely. We're all ready.
Very good.
Transfusions?
Oh, Ike's Transfusion's the official name. I'll show you.
I believe
I just learned.
you.
Vodka for this crowd. More vodka. Equal parts Welch's grape. And some good brewed ginger ale. Drop in a lime wedge. According to the bartender at the clubhouse, that got Ike through his winters.
Then it must be good. Cheers.
Cheers.
So you two have met?
Larry Jacobson.
Jeremy Rudd. Glad you could make it.
I was deeply saddened to hear about Nelson. He was like a grandfather and a brother to me. I'd just flown down to Groom Lake from Vegas. It was my first time at the ranch. I'm still in my postdoc year. And Nelson sits me down the very first day to read me into my compartment. You know, Larry, he says, you seem like a normal guy like the rest of us. And at some point, a normal guy is bound to be drunk at a party. And he is bound to have an urge to come clean. Just share everything. And I want you to know, we really don't care. We won't hurt you. But in fairness, you should know that we will kill your wife, your children, your mom, your dad, your miniature fucking pony, and your best friends one by one. But you'll be okay. He was ready to kill me. My first day, he was gonna kill me.
Nelson was nothing if not quick on his feet. Good example. We were down at Quantico for a security conference. We had just played a fast 9 holes on the course. We run into the outgoing vice president. This was a few years back. I congratulate him, and I point out, with my usual tact, well, sir, the fact that a colored socialist has the self-preservation instinct to appoint an ex-Marine commandant to be his national security advisor, doesn't that give you hope? At which point the vice president turns to Nelson and asks, I didn't just hear the general refer to the new president of the United States as a colored socialist, did I? Without missing a beat, Nelson comes back. No, Mr. Vice President, the general has been unusually flatulent on the course today. That must have been what you heard. And with that, I need another transfusion.
Yeah, brain cells.
Allow me to store you one, General.
It just came out. Now it just comes out that way.
Well, I may live to regret my words when I wind up leading the next issue of the Peking Digest, your esteemed broadcast.
Actually, it's the People's Digest, sir.
Another memory lapse. And you and the socialist go back a long way, don't you? That expensive prep school in Hawaii that Daddy sent your ungrateful little ass to. From what I hear, the socialist isn't taking your phone calls these days. Is that another example of his self-preservation instinct?
General, I dare say the legend of your bellicosity has not been overstated.
Gentlemen, we need some more music. Who do you
Nor
think?
has the legend of your error-ridden, wildly inventive, some might say treasonous, I definitely say limp-dicked repertoire.
All right, thank you. Enough.
Oh.
We're not cavemen.
You feeling cold at all?
No.
Can you open your mouth?
Sort of.
Yeah, you know what? Put some pressure on this, okay?
What the hell was I thinking?
Well, probably the same thing we're all thinking.
That man was head of Air Force Intelligence Command? That's a real eye-opener.
You know, if I may say so, he is someone to regard with caution.
Really?
I can tell you that he and a couple of the other guys, they took quite an interest in your Chetco aircraft piece.
You think my father saw it?
Can't say for sure, but they're a tightly knit bunch.
So I gather. Maybe you can explain some of his mission patches to me?
I could try. NRO has to win the award for creepiest. Tell me what a three-headed serpent wrapped around the globe means. I have no idea.
Like ancient cave drawings. Could decipher a whole civilization. What, NRO?
National Reconnaissance Office. You know, they managed to keep their existence secret for 30 years. Now, this one's a little more obvious. 10 cap. Tactical exploration of national capabilities.
There's some wiggle room in that phrase, national capabilities. What's with the alien face and all the weird chevrons?
Odorentum metron. It must have something to do with it.
My Latin's a notch down from my Swahili. Do you?
I believe it relates to the Emperor Caligula. Let them hate, so long as they fear. Some such nonsense. I see you take shorthand. I'm impressed.
I'm impressed you can read it upside down.
Oh, Spookery 101.
What about the inverted triangle?
I'm gonna get you a doctor.
Nope. Nope, I don't do doctors.
As stubborn as your old man.
Nope.
Fetch you some ice at least. How about that?
It may come as little comfort to learn from this quarter the esteem in which your father was held by many in the armed services. The only time I met him was once with you. This must have been first half of our senior year. He was visiting from the mainland. You asked me to ride out to Hickam Field with you. There was no mistaking how much his political views diverged from yours, and by extension, from mine. I can only imagine it was never easy to be that dude's son. But he was nothing if not fascinating. Humbly I pray, old friend, that his passing may allow you in some measure, as the view from these digs has allowed me, better to reconcile all the perspectives that weave humanity's tapestry.
Golf for music, Mr. President.
Let's do golf. The game yesterday was a shambles.
Wake-up call.
Never?
Oh, sounds good.
About an hour before dinner.
Roger that.
Thanks, Ben.
Welcome. We invite you to lie back, relax, breathe deeply. Inner serenity is the key to performance in the outer world. Whether you seek a better game of golf or a greater sense of oneness with the universe. These binaural beats will help you to get in touch with deeper levels of awareness. Enjoy.
Glad to see you again.
Oh, we were just finishing. Please.
Your usual win, General?
Remains to be seen. No matter. Come on.
Could use some advice. One lame duck to another.
Intention always gets you answers, doesn't it? And when it doesn't get you into trouble.
What's it, 50 years since you died? This thing's become a monster.
I thought I spelled it out.
You did. The deep state's only getting deeper. All because of a handful of dastardly men.
It's one way of looking at it.
But not yours. You see, this is why I need your perspective, General.
Who are those dastardly men? Ask yourself that. And why is it they hold any sway? Ask yourself that.
The Justice Department has indicted 5 top executives and engineers of Chetco Aircraft Corporation under the Espionage Act. This comes just 1 week after a federal judge found those same individuals in contempt of court for refusing to comply with an injunction issued earlier this month. Both actions arose after Chetco announced it would manufacture what it calls, quote, the world's first electrogravitic performance enhancer for commercial airliners, the Ipotane.
I thought this might go differently.
Can you record something analyzing the indictments?
I'd rather wait. A long piece I'm doing. I think the Atlantic might take it at 6,000 words.
That's great, but I need analysis now. What about the White House?
Lila, I don't have POTUS's cell phone. I don't think he has one anymore.
He's gonna have to take questions sometime. Huh? All right, good point. By the way, what the hell happened to your face?
What? Oh, yeah. It's an odd world, let me tell you. We had a little get-together the other night. A lot of drinking, kind of a wake without a body.
It was weed.
A few of the old man's cronies. The girl who worked for him did the organizing. She's a good kid, and we've hung out a bit.
Not a good idea. You're vulnerable.
She's part of the story somehow.
Which story?
I'm getting the feeling it's all one goddamn story. I'm reading Larry Jacobson's book. You read it?
No,
You said you love Tesla Tech.
not by way of his lying mouth.
You seem to know a thing or two about him.
Yeah, I wish I didn't. He tried to hit on me at a UFO conference once.
I didn't realize you go to UFO conferences.
I've been to a couple. I don't really advertise it.
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
Then why are you making the case?
I'm just curious.
Yeah, he was there giving one of those insider talks, trying to titillate people with disinformation.
Why'd we invite him to the memorial?
We didn't.
He just showed up?
Well, he was your father's protege, kinda. I assume that story he told you about Area 51 was true.
My father confirm it?
Not to me. I knew they worked there together, but
On what?
don't know. Why don't you ask Larry Jacobson?
I will. I doubt he'll tell me.
All I know is he's a spook, and they themselves don't know when they're lying.
I find these people and what they do disconcerting, to say the least.
Welcome to your father's world.
What the hell is that?
Hi there. Welcome. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for having us.
Sure. Let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, who is the artist here?
Oh, good question. Luckily for you, the price reflects it.
Reflects that it's unsigned?
Yeah, it's unsigned, but that is a gorgeous painting. I really love it.
How much? Are you seeing this? Who the hell painted this? Some local, right?
Definitely wasn't Nelson. I can vouch for that.
No.
Maybe somebody in the clubhouse knows. So you're taking that back to the rambling brownstone?
Damn right I am. It's brick, actually, brickstone. You should come visit. Plenty of room.
Yeah, I've never been east of Flagstaff.
What?
Yeah. So many places that I want to visit.
What's stopping you?
It's complicated. But I'll get around to it.
When you do, that'll be hanging in your guest bedroom. You want to eat?
Sure.
It's hard to get the hair right.
It's even harder to keep it straight, I tell you that.
At least you have something to keep straight.
You know what I miss most since we left the White House? Having a barber right there whenever you need him.
That's right. What about a Negro cowboy? What would he do if there wasn't a barber around?
He cut it himself.
Think so?
Or take some pomade from his saddlebag, slick it down, it gets too long.
That's right.
You know, speaking of cowboys, Mr. Zanuck sent over his new Western picture.
Really?
Yes, sir. In case you feel like a movie tonight.
Maybe tomorrow. I might take a tablet. Didn't sleep well.
General, if that new picture's anything like Mr. Zanuck's last picture, you won't need no sleeping tablet.
That's right.
James V. Forrestal becomes America's first Secretary of Defense. Now that the long battle for unification of the services has been won, the former Navy Secretary has this to say.
The National Security Act of 1947 constitutes the most decisive step taken by the United States in the formation of a national military policy since the foundation of the Republic. It is a law which represents an accommodation between many divergent points of view. But it is a workable law. It is a step which will help to maintain peace. But if war ever should come again, it will help us to deal with it swiftly and effectively. America will be safer because of it.
They should have called it the Flying Saucer Mayhem Act.
What Forrestal had to deal with. I mean, Navy's intransigence all through then. The unification battles. Strikes me as outright insubordination.
Of course it was. The backroom boys. One thing for sure about them. Those dastardly men you complain about is their tendency toward insubordination.
They're always going to find a way to do their own thing their own way. Boy, do I know that.
Navy had a lot of backroom boys. I'm sure you know that. They weren't about to give away their planes to some upstart Air Force. And they sure as hell weren't going to give away their piece of the saucer pie.
Saucer pie? Meaning round craft. ET's operational hardware.
The gadgets. They were meaningless at first. We didn't understand how they worked. Nobody did, not even the Germans we brought over.
So, gadgets led to agreements with the ETs.
No. You're getting ahead of yourself. In '47, we had a monopoly on the most powerful gadget on Earth. And Truman wanted to keep it that way.
The shockwave will arrive shortly. Keep firm.
But from what I understand, didn't the visitors show up, for the most part, to keep us from using the bomb?
They had an eye on us after Japan, that's for sure. And they were willing to show us how easily they could disable anything with a nuclear warhead that we tried to send up.
But the public didn't know this. How are you planning on dealing with the public?
That was always the elephant in the room. One thing for sure, you couldn't tell the public the whole story. Because we didn't know the whole story. The backroom boys didn't know the whole story. But the visitors helped us. They gave the public a mystery. It was all about acclimatization, Mr. President. Controlled acclimatization.
Looking better, my friend.
Oh, yeah?
Much better. And I brought you a gift. You know, some men are embarrassed to buy makeup. This stuff covers just about anything. Straight out of Hollywood.
Oh, thank you. Doing well?
Busy?
Doing what, dare I ask?
This and that.
That's what I get for asking.
How's the big essay coming?
It's coming.
Oh, touche.
The Chetco story didn't play out like I thought. You want coffee?
I love one.
Well, it's impossible to report on. It's all speculation. Nobody's ever even seen this goddamn airplane of theirs, the Ipotane.
I have.
No one outside the black world, I mean.
Didn't realize you had company. Hello.
You're his golf date?
I'm not saying there's much I can say about Chetco necessarily.
Well, I wish you would. You've got nosebleed clearances, don't you?
Nosebleed clearances can be a curse.
Lori's here organizing my father's papers. Princeton's taking them.
Yes, I know. Unfortunately, all the good stuff's locked away in special access programs. Born secret, forever secret, no mandatory declassification date.
Well, that's fucked up. Excuse my French.
Well, I'm with you 100%, buddy.
Wait.
Yeah.
Take my word, he's not gullible. You may end up giving away your crown jewels without even knowing it.
You have no idea how miserable I can make your life.
And you have no idea what Nelson told me about you and your family.
You're so lucky Nelson didn't ask too many questions about you. Cunning little vixen.
Go fuck yourself.
And there it is.
You having coffee, Lori?
No, I've got to go. I have a client. I'll see you later.
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thanks again. So, you've seen the Ipotane? You flying it?
I have flown in it. I haven't piloted it.
That's what I meant, of course.
You might want to see this. It's conventional at first. Then, cruising altitude, the jet engines ionize their exhaust in such a way creates an electrostatic charge across the leading edge of the wing. 15 million volts of performance enhancement. Think of it as creating a sort of gravity well that pulls the plane into it. At least in that sense, it's very much like a classic flying disc, a roundcraft, if you will.
You and Lila, I can't talk about flying discs. How does it maintain its lift? How does it?
By shielding itself from gravity.
Okay. That's the other problem with reporting on this.
Well, it's only a problem if you're stuck in the old physics. Are you stuck in the old physics?
Well, I don't want to be.
Good. Because we can't get very far if you are. Images, Mr. Rudd. Images can go a long way toward clearing things up.
Okay, I'm attentive.
Do we have to tee off at 10? Your dad charged me with safekeeping this stuff. I like to think he trusted me.
Was he expecting to go somewhere?
You should really have the key. It's technically yours now.
Do I want the key, Professor?
I think you might.
The hell is that?
Oh, memorabilia. I planned a little showing. Shall we?
It usually requires from 5 to 10
It's the best date shake I've ever had. It's the only date shake I've ever had.
No one ever leaves here without saying that.
That was my father's.
Yeah. I think the stars, everything still works around here.
After it's planted, it requires an additional 8 to 15 years to bring.
Patrick Air Force Base, 58. ICBM launch test. It's a huge 48-inch lens. And the missile is heading east across the ocean, 14,000 miles an hour, into subspace. Now, if you look in the upper right corner of the frame, a luminous object traveling even faster appears. It directs a beam at the missile in several places. This is a charged particle beam of some sort, completely disabling it.
Disables the guidance system.
It shut off the yaw gyro. There was no warhead on the missile, of course. But if there had been, we have every reason to believe that the arming and fusing mechanisms would have also been disabled.
Unfucking believable.
No one was hurt.
Have they declassified this?
You've got to be kidding me. Oh, there's more.
No.
Mr. Rudd.
No, you're gonna force me to sign some sort of inadvertent disclosure agreement.
I am
or
not going to
something.
force you to sign anything. Just relax, please.
Is that ours or theirs?
Well, by theirs, you mean the Russians.
I don't mean the Russians.
Maitland Air Force Base, February 55. You can verify the date from the edge print of the original negative. It's straight out of the camera.
Ike?
Mm-hmm. This is Ike. Over there. You need his Xanax?
No.
Okay. This can be an emotional experience.
What happens next?
Therein lies a vast tale, my dear friend. Your father,
No.
like a few of us in the organization, believed that it was time for this to be made public. This belongs to you now.
Bullshit.
More than once, things almost went differently.
You think Project Shamrock's the only time bomb we're sitting on?
Take your word for it. I'm flattered you'd think I'd have any sort of pull with my fellow congressmen.
You don't need pull, Jack. You have a speech and debate clause. You can bring it up on the House floor and they can't prosecute you.
Oh, but they can't censure me. Vote me out. Or worse.
Realize that all the security apparatus of these United States could wind up in the shitter.
Sure you want me to hear this? You've got a lot more to lose than I do.
This country's got a lot to lose. I won't let it happen. Not on my watch. For the love of Mike, won't you read some of this into the congressional record?
Is this related to what we discussed in Germany 2 years ago? Those balls of light.
Related? Won't you read some of this into the congressional record?
Is this related to what we discussed in Germany 2 years ago? Those balls of light. Is this related to what we discussed in Germany 2 years ago? Those balls of light.
Related, I presume. But a lot has happened since then. Read the estimate.
Forrestal had a Jesuit's secretiveness. But what the backroom boys didn't count on, he also had a Jesuit's annoying sense of morality. He could think this thing through. He realized it would be impossible to keep this secret forever.
Drink up, Jim.
Mr. Secretary, if you don't mind.
You're a hero, Jim. That's how Josephine and the boys will remember you. That's how the country will remember you. They'll name a ship after you. Maybe a college. What would you think of that, pal? Time's running out. If you don't take care of this, you know what's going to happen to Joe and the boys.
It's too short.
You're a hero, Jim. And you have my word. No harm to Joe and the boys.
Did you realize what had happened?
I knew he was overworked, confused even. Later, I got more information. The question was, who was next? Could it be Truman if he changed his mind, decided to spill the beans?
I can't imagine Truman ever anticipating an indefinite secrecy about ETs.
That's right, I don't believe he did. You had men, good men, having reactions within themselves that they couldn't control. They couldn't even begin to understand. It may be hard for you to fathom, Mr. President, but War of the Worlds is still a fresh memory to those men.
The safest kind of wildlife.
Doves.
There's kind of an angle to us. Why would they put a bench? Sorry, stay over there. Don't be so close to me. Back off a little. Caudiciforms, non-cacti succulent plants with enlarged bulbous bases. You knew that.
He's all over us, this guy.
He's great.
We might have overstayed our welcome. Do we owe you any more?
Not at all.
Did you Do you know this person?
Oh, in that picture? No, I don't know the person.
Do you mind if I see it?
My parents knew him. Love to show it to you.
He was known only as Swami. For nearly a decade, he could be seen meditating beneath the serenity of the cacti.
You say your parents knew him?
Yes, he used to visit the garden.
When his time in the desert was over, he disappeared as mysteriously as when he arrived. You never asked my father about that photo?
I think he thought of it as like, good luck.
Like this guy was his guru or something?
No, like a rabbit's foot. Like, Swami's got my back. I think he's said that once or twice.
Swami's got my back? No, that's the kind of photo a guru gives to a devotee.
Honestly, I think he thought of it as a joke. Like the little pink tea cozy that belonged to Mrs. Eisenhower.
I'm not familiar with Mamie's tea cozy.
I'll point it out to you. It's in the kitchen.
So are you saying the photo might have been there before my father bought the house?
Could have been. I know a lot of the furniture was.
Oh, here we go. There you are. No, don't turn around. They've been there for a while. Okay?
Yeah.
That was interesting. You seen that car before?
No.
Sorry.
Let's get out of the road.
It was no longer about humanity's readiness. It was about opportunism and turf wars. Inconceivable amounts of money funneled into defense contractors who became guardians of the secrets. False signals were transmitted. One agency misled another. By the time my successor took office and began to dissect the components, so much could be hidden from the president, you see.
But he had his resources like you had.
That's right, but the backroom boys had more of them.
Whenever I ask about any of it, the ET industrial complex, if you will, the briefing I get, it's like a puzzle. They're leaving me to fill in the blanks.
But they give you just enough to convince you the secrecy needs to continue, and often they don't give you the true reasons for the secrecy.
They mix it up with the big T's, that's for sure. You gotta laugh, though. I get invited to this room at Fort Belvoir, right? Who's the briefing officer? Major General so-and-so. Odd-looking guy, dark glasses, a lot of flags on his uniform. Now, he's got the tickets, let me tell you. All of them.
The scope tells us the unit has reached a zero-value crossover point. I will now switch in the clamped feedback system for self-powering, while simultaneously disconnecting the external current that powered the device during its startup phase. I will now add a load.
What's it doing?
Generating electricity, Mr. President. Obviously.
Out of thin air?
You could say that. It is self-powering 100% of its loads and losses. It will continue to do so indefinitely, subject only to mechanical shaftware.
You know we don't grant patents on perpetual motion, right? And a few other things that defy the laws of physics?
I'm well aware of that. This and other devices like it have existed on your planet. They've existed for well over 100 years.
Why is it locked up in a place like this? We could be out there in the world doing good, getting us off oil.
It'll happen. When you're ready.
When I'm ready.
When the world is ready, Mr. President.
Who is he to say when the world is ready? Then, come to find out, every president for the past 40 years has been given the same briefing by the same briefing officer, the same damn box.
And I bet you the fellow looks just like he did 40 years ago.
Hold on, gets better. Later, the guy's name turns up on a list of non-terrestrial flag officers.
You met your first spaceman.
Let me tell you, that blew my mind more than the box.
But did that not strengthen your resolve to lessen the secrecy?
Certainly confirmed the situation. Wait, who are you?
This is Lars. Our nickname, of course. It's about time you two met. Lars is the fellow who came to visit us at Maitland that day.
How do you do, sir?
Mr. President, your resolve.
I'm afraid, like a lot of things, I had to check it at the door.
Next time you have him tailed, try not to get me killed.
Be that as it may, we need to make sure your alternative media darling doesn't wind up with keys to the store, wittingly or unwittingly.
Why do we care?
He keeps notes or recordings of what Larry Jacobson tells him.
Keeps notes on everything, including me, I'm sure.
Get them.
Will that help me get out of this arrangement?
And here comes the fashion statement. Oh my God. No, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
He's tall.
So when did he change?
He's a man who got divorced, didn't see his family much. He'd fly back from the mainland a couple times a year. He just got bitter or something.
Because he didn't want to leave paradise.
Yeah.
Or his beautiful son.
I doubt it had much to do with us. Oh, really?
I loved your hair.
Somehow I avoided the crew cut. All right, what other embarrassing things have you seen?
Well, that's it as far as the movies go. There's a couple of snapshots.
You mind if I work?
No, I don't mind if you work.
Rudd.
Sir, I have White House Deputy Chief of Staff Kat Rollins calling for Mr. Jeremy Rudd.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, this is not a secure call.
All right, I understand. Hey. How you doing? Oh, thanks. That's sweet of you. I had no idea he was so well-liked, frankly.
They are making a stop on their way back from Hawaii, Maitland Air Force Base, near where you're staying.
Maitland? Didn't see that on the public schedule.
Just got added. Some remarks to the guys and gals in uniform.
Oh, brother. And how would that possibly interest me?
Chief just thought you might like to be there.
Oh, okay. Why didn't you say so?
I think we're calling to thank your sorry ass for the Chetco
Hey,
today.
it is not my fault no one else is reporting on it. I'd like to know how it got to this point. Kat. Off the record if you want. Why didn't anybody stop them sooner?
Asked and answered. We're trying to stay out of Chetco.
Is he going to declassify and end this whole mess?
You know more about this than I do.
Fine. Can I bring a guest with me?
Send me their details and I'll find out.
All right, thanks. Her name is Lori Larkspur, like the flower.
Oh, get her social security number if you can. Make it easier.
I'll try.
Thank you.
Sorry.
In 1944, Churchill gave me a talk. He said the High Cabal intended to keep all this secret for 2 generations. Now, at that time, this seemed reasonable to me, given all the trauma the world had suffered during the war. But 8 years later, once they gave me the presidency, a lot was changing. I was warned. I was warned that the saucer business could turn in a very ugly direction.
Sir.
I take it you're gonna tell me what I need to know about these damn visitors.
There's more of them, that's for sure. Biggest year so far. They had all the tests. I got a report last week. They disabled the fusing mechanism on an A-bomb.
Oh, that's troubling. Very troubling. It's bad enough they overfly the Capitol, bad enough the public sees them, knows there's not a damn thing we can do. Public finds out they can shut off an A-bomb?
You betcha.
They're gonna ask why can't they just as easily fire one? What do I tell them?
Nothing, of course.
That's easy for you to say. I'm in a press room, some reporter wants to know. He's got a right to know.
Like hell he does.
They can see these things with their own eyes.
They can see them, but they're not gonna believe it until we tell them to believe it.
Sounds like quicksand.
It's called cognitive dissonance. It's how we control this information.
God damn your psychological ops. It's still quicksand.
We need time. We need time to develop more leverage with them. As long as we can speak with anyway.
It's still quicksand. Crying out loud, how do you develop leverage with a spaceman?
You get no argument from me there, boss. In fact, you need to know I'm leaving the group. My seat's gonna be vacant.
What perfect timing.
Honestly, I have no other choice. We're gonna have to leave it right there. My advice, if you want it, is get your own man into that group. Your brother, maybe.
Let me tell you, it'll be a cold day in hell that my brother leaves academia for your flying saucers.
You can take this thing with the visitors any goddamn way you care to take it. But if you try to clean up this mess, God forbid you try to make any of it public, the group will be one step ahead of you at all times.
If I'm not mistaken, Beetle, most of those fellows wear the uniform of this country.
Trust me, they don't answer to it.
I find that hard to believe.
At the very least, you'll never get it straight from them the way Truman did it first. And if you try, they'll laugh right in your face. And they will remind you that any connection between them and the White House is paper thin at this point.
They're gonna learn fast that I mean business.
Ike? Ike. Don't ever forget, Jim Forrestal meant business. They will lie to you, They will threaten you if they need to. And how you choose to respond could damn well determine history.
I felt the way that I felt the first time I set foot in a concentration camp. I wanted to react. I wanted to react in the way any normal American would react. But I couldn't. I couldn't because I knew too much. I knew the way things really work. And knowing the way things really work, I knew that I had work to do.
I feel like we're being set up. You know, why not just send the footage anonymously so they can make it seem like you did something illegal to induce the disclosure? That's why.
No, this fell into my lap.
Yeah, it looks otherwise.
I realize that, but think about what it means. We've had access to anti-gravity technology for, what, more than 60 years? This footage, believe me, it illustrates that beautifully.
Hello, Earth to Jeremy. The whole thing then becomes about proving it's authentic, okay? And in the process, you just throw the credibility of your reporting on Chetco out the window.
Lila, this stuff is credible, especially when the forensics check out, believe me. I mean, it may be unbelievable, but I guarantee you it's authentic.
It's a distraction, for Christ's sakes.
Hold on. Hey, come on. I'm on with Lila.
Oh.
Who's in the room?
Did you get her legal opinion?
Lila Parnell, Larry Jacobson.
Wow.
How do you do?
It's my huge pleasure to meet the engine behind America's finest newscast.
Okay, they're very kind, Professor.
Be careful, he's a flatterer.
To answer your question, I'm having lunch with a lawyer in half an hour.
Oh, well, allow me to save you some money. It's highly unlikely the government would charge you. You know, you're a bona fide news outlet. You're adding value to the information. There are strong First Amendment precedents. No criminal intent on your part. If, on the other hand, Mr. Rudd chooses to retain his father's memorabilia, he could be seen as a co-conspirator in the theft of classified government property.
I didn't talk to him for 20 years. How is that conspiracy?
Well, given the facts and circumstances, it might not be hard to build a case.
No.
Gentlemen, I need to get going.
If I may say so, you need to see the footage. May I send a plane for you?
A plane? For me? No. There has to be some other way.
I'm afraid not.
That all sounds very cloak and dagger, Professor. You know, we do have a secure Dropbox.
Don't kid yourself. What's secure, Miss Parnell?
Right. I'll get back with you.
She winked at me. What do you think that means?
Probably that she likes you.
Oh, she's afraid. Hopefully her lawyer doesn't make her more so.
You can't play golf today.
Ugh. No, it's more important that you get your bearings.
I thought I had him. Take that with you, please.
As you wish.
I'm not going to help you carry it.
You know what makes me sad, my friend? If I may call you that? You know, if you don't use this film, we'll offer it to another outlet. And of course they'll take it. And of course, they'll sensationalize it to death. And then what? Becomes another act in the circus. Another pipe in the mighty Wurlitzer, I guess you'd say. No, without your discernment, without your analysis, without what I know is your commitment to honesty, then this just disappears into folklore. No more or less fondly remembered than, say, the alien autopsy hoax. Which, by the way, wasn't one of ours.
Rudd?
I have to assume you have no idea who this Lori Larkspur is?
Oh, wait, Kat? What number is this?
It's a phone booth. And be glad it is. Do you know who she is?
Well, she's my father's assistant. She helps old people fix their computers.
That is priceless.
Why?
Your Lori works for the Department of Energy's Office of Intelligence and Counterintelligence. Ask me how she got the job. You of all people should know the case.
Are you sure you have the right person?
She was an activist charged 3 years ago under the Computer Fraud and Abuse Act for trying to hack DOE. Had some wild story about UFOs preventing a nuclear disaster out of Tonopah.
That was her?
She was looking for evidence proving it. Real name's Beatrice Ward.
Did they convict her?
It was never tried. Energy got the charges suspended so they could hire her. Under a new identity, of course.
Well, if they hired her, they must not have had a case.
I'm sorry. I suggest you be very careful what you share with her. And by the way, the Air Force doesn't want her anywhere near Maitland. Neither do we.
Okay.
Recording. Recording. Assistant interview is continued. Lori Larkspur, 2:15 p.m. 2:15 p.m.
In Silicon Valley, I was a cog in a very big machine. Sure, the perks were great, but I wanted my own business. So when my mom got sick and I had the chance to help her and move to the desert.
With all of the retired residents out here, this is a very strong market potential.
True. So would your IT needs represent a big part of the job?
Oh, it's part of it, yes. I'm hopeless with computers, but I still write longhand. Most of what I'm doing right now is writing my memoirs. I'll make no bones about it, Miss Larkspur. Is it Miss?
Yes, but I prefer Lori.
Yeah. There is a social aspect to the job. I'm looking for someone who's at home in groups, even older ones. I'm looking for a gal, frankly, who's not drawing Social Security. I won't ask you to do any housekeeping or cooking or crack my back, for that matter.
Well, good, because I wouldn't do that.
But I would like someone who's flexible enough to want to step out for dinner once a week or so, maybe even taking a show.
That sounds great, actually.
What about your dad? Is he out in this neck of the woods?
My dad and I actually haven't spoken in quite some time. In all honesty, General, he did some stupid things, which is why I haven't really stayed in touch with him.
One would think he would be very proud to have a daughter like you.
Why is that?
Well, you're obviously a very together young woman. Your background check is flawless, and you're certainly a caring person. What I was saying was with the retired folks,
Tell the truth. Right after you were inaugurated, how quickly did you sprint from the podium to wherever they keep the files on Area 51? Because I know you looked. Because I would look.
I got to tell you, I didn't sprint right after putting my hand on the Bible. You see, I mean, there were other more important things to do before running to chase after, you know. But I will tell you that I have seen some stuff, but I'm really not at liberty to say.
Oh, okay.
But that is saying.
No.
That is saying something.
No.
My wife has taught me this.
I know that one too. But I'll tell you, the reason I'm not able to say anything is because the aliens don't want us to know. No, really. They don't want us to know their secrets till they want us to know their secrets. You know, it ruined their plans.
It's the story of the century. The press won't dig past the giggle factor. It's like the ships are on the horizon and everybody's waiting to be told that they're real. And then when you try and tell them that they're real, they complain that you're feeding them disinformation. If that's not cognitive dissonance, I don't know what is.
The answer is in one word: fear. Same fear that allowed Mr. McCarthy to do what he did, same fear that allows Congress to fund every war. Fear. It's what let the backroom boys steal history. Given their bloodlines, they assumed it was theirs to steal.
As a student of history, I'm curious. Why didn't you stop them, General?
Oh, I'd hoped maybe I could outflank them.
I don't really have any regrets.
Obviously, I wasn't able to do everything that I had in mind when I got into the office, you know, but that's our democracy, and that's the way it works, and that's the way it's supposed to work.
Hey. How you doing?
Good.
It's gonna be a beautiful sunset. You wanna hike?
Sure. Let me just throw my shoes on.
Okay.
Hi.
Hey. I had an unsettling phone call yesterday. A friend of mine from the White House.
Yeah?
The president's giving some remarks up in Maitland. Now I'm personally invited.
So what's so unsettling?
Well, he just added it to his schedule out of the blue. I don't know what he's gonna say.
Suspense.
Yeah, I'm done with suspense. Aren't you? I mean, my father dies. I come out here. Chetco piece blows up. People get indicted for what? Trying to make the world better. My father's young assistant wants to hang out with me. My new best friend's a spook who also wants to hang out.
You know he's not reliable.
Yeah, I don't know what's reliable anymore. Why are you hanging out with me?
You'd have to
What
ask.
are you doing with me, Lori?
You know, paranoia is your least attractive trait.
I'm usually pretty good at separating the real from the not. That's what I do.
I'm not doing this.
Hey. Can we have a real conversation then, Beatrice? You just talk to me?
Get off me.
Beatrice Ward? I'd love to know if anything was real.
Fuck off.
Hi, boys. How we doing? There we go. Bye-bye. Good luck. For the record, Department of Energy, previously known as the Atomic Energy Commission. These are the geniuses that maintain the Nevada test site. Over 100 nuclear tests carried out above ground at that site. Radiological experiments conducted on United States soldiers and citizens at that site. Part of that site called Watertown, also known popularly as Area 51, Groom Lake, home home for 70 years of special clandestine projects, one or more of which had their origins in technology recovered from extraterrestrial objects. Well, nowadays, it's hard to separate the ET hardware from the, our own, but I imagine they like it that way. This is technology. Propulsion technology, energy technology, anti-gravitic technology that literally could save the planet. But what's the rush? What remains to be seen is whether anyone in certain circles has the courage or the wherewithal to declassify this information and stop this fucking idiocy once and for all. The clock is ticking. Okay.
We come to you now as we share a concern with many civilizations at the very dangerous undertaking now unfolding on your planet. My dear Mr. President, you are at the helm of a great ship riddled with holes. We commend you, your steady hand, your love of all that is good in your people, but your people's love of competition, their love of leading others to the precipice, may also lead to the end of your civilization. We humbly offer now, at your request, the knowledge we have gained of how to harness limitless energy that does not poison your planet. We can help lift all the people of your world in a cradle of prosperity. To do this, the people of your world must choose to rise as one.
Mr. Ambassador, those are beautiful sentiments. But we have seen very recently our civilization turned to barbarism. We simply strive to maintain a balance that prevents another war of unthinkable destruction.
It is what you would call a losing battle. Our world was once very much like yours, with factions keeping one brother from another. We have evolved into what you would think of as a unitary consciousness, a collective that aspires to greater realms of service by combining the abilities of many individuals in the service of the all. You and your people are part of that all.
You see, for some time now, we have chronicled your evolution from several different time frame points of view, including your future. From now, we observe a deep transition occurring in your civilization. From the future of now, we see you slowly enjoying the changes you've made.
What's not to like about this guy?
Have that dialogue, Mr. President. The public wants that dialogue.
Can I take Lars with me?
Would that you could. Would that I could have. Lars, unfortunately, can't answer the hard question. And it's as relevant to you as it was to me. How do we, humanity, get through this with our power intact? And I'm not talking about might. Our visitors made it clear it couldn't be about having a military advantage. It's about every individual's power to forge his own destiny.
In other words, how do we make the people feel like they're a part of some creative evolutionary process, as opposed to feeling jerked around like puppets by a conspiracy of bankers, Blue Bloods, the media?
Fill in the blank.
Fill in the blank.
General, with the greatest possible respect, the idea that our people would ever just accept the notion of genetic intervention throughout history.
Mr. President, your belly aching is exactly the excuse we used over and over again to justify the secrecy.
The idea that these beings are among us now, influencing world events, tipping the scales of power.
Get over it. We're all cosmic mutts here. Doesn't make us any less as a people.
Us. I mean, you're not even physiologically incarnate at this point.
Neither am I. And yet our concern has never been greater, nor our love.
What I was compelled to remind myself with gratitude every day, what the people will one day remind themselves with gratitude, is how more than once, without ever tipping a hand, without asking for a thing in return, Lars's people and others like them quietly stopped us from blowing ourselves to kingdom come.
My dear Mr. President, the many voices you hear in the conduct of your leadership often seek destruction. They seek the cessation of humanity's progress. They seek only their own enrichment through the domination of others and your Earth Mother. This you have seen in many guises.
Jesus, can't make this stuff up.
In many places.
How the hell did he learn our language?
Berlitz?
Align campus.
Mr. Ambassador.
That's Ike. Listen.
What am I seeing now?
What you would call your future.
It's glorious.
Glorious, did he say?
And it can be
Surely
glorious.
someone can authenticate his voice.
No, that's him. I'll get an expert. Go on camera. It's him.
Glorious.
Shit. Where's my drink?
Dear Mr. President,
Oh, you're gonna want to be sober for this.
we ask you now to listen to your own heart and know that it beats with the heart of your people and all that is good in your people.
Well, can I surmise you're on board?
What if my puddle jumper goes down on the way out of here?
I'm not gonna have it sent by armed courier if you don't mind the spectacle.
I'll manage, Professor.
Okay.
You were right. If we don't do this, who will?
I'll leave you here. You know, I don't do,
When the hell are you coming back? You sort of need to be there.
Next week, after POTUS's remarks up in Maitland.
What's your gut telling you? You think this is part of our story?
Could be, if he has the balls. Why else would Kat want me there?
Just to be clear, we go with the story, regardless of what the Lion SOB says.
Absolutely. Be careful.
Keep me posted.
All loaded, Mr. President. Should I take your gym bag?
Not yet. Damn, I don't want to leave this place.
I don't blame you.
What's the weather like at Maitland?
Dry and windy tomorrow, sir. Anything else for now?
No.
Wheels up in an hour, sir.
Roger that. This breakthrough technology is often inaccessible due to the secrecy of the special access programs in which it is developed. It might as well exist in another world. In fact, it might as well exist in another world. That is why, effective today, I have issued an executive order that immediately declassifies certain breakthrough energy and propulsion technology. This will in no way undermine our ability to control the military application of this technology. What it will do is enable inventors, talented, eager men and women to build upon and improve the technology for the benefit according to established law for the benefit of humankind.
As long as there are folks like you, and I'm confident that our nation will endure, and hope will overcome fear. And I'm confident that better days lie ahead. Thank you very much, everybody. God bless you. God bless the United States Armed Forces. God bless the United States of America.
Nelson Fenimore Rudd may have had no intention of disseminating the film he stole. But even if the friendly spook had kept it secret, the general had to have known that somebody, someday, would find it. I like to think that my father knew we'd find it sooner rather than later. I like to think somehow that redeems him. That his faithful service to the deep state was guided by the knowledge that one day the truth would widely be known. Yeah. Hey, Rudd?
Mr. Rudd, Miss Larkspur is here to see you.
No, thank you.
I'm sorry, ma'am. He's unavailable.
Wait, is she alone?
Yes, sir. I believe she is.
Send her over.
I just want you to know that I had no choice with them. They were ready to send me away for 15 years.
Well, you must be really dangerous then.
And for what it's worth, Nelson knew my whole story.
Makes one Rudd who knew it.
All he said was, tell them anything they want to hear because it's not going to make a damn bit of difference anyway.
I need to leave for the station.
Use this for the Chetco story.
Don't you dare give that to me.
It shows that it works. That it was definitely borrowed technology.
Yeah, so is my smartphone, they tell me.
It's all true, Jeremy.
God damn it! One more lying person says that to me! It's all true.
I'm sorry that the president let you down. I wanted him to declassify it too.
Well, can you blame him? He wants to see his kids grow old. Doesn't want to contract some rare form of cancer. It's a big advance on his memoirs.
You could have a word with him.
I'm not sure he's taking my calls right now.
Write your story. I'll help you in any way that I can.
Did aliens really stop whatever the hell that nuclear disaster was out of Tonopah?
Of course they did.
Well, at least the Inquirer got it right.
General, what do you think will be the outcome of Operation Junction City in Vietnam?
What do I think it'll be? You're asking the wrong man, son.
If anyone can predict, you can, sir.
From what I understand, we're trying to crush the 9th Division of the Viet Cong, and I'm sure the rest is classified. All I know is we've got some very capable fellas working on it.
Yes, sir. The 1st and 25th Infantry Divisions. I'll be one of them soon.
ROTC?
No, sir. I got drafted. I report next week.
Make us proud.
I'll do my best, sir.
That's all you can do. But let's end this thing soon.
That's my hope, sir.
Well, everybody, Mamie and I have a big country to cross. Want to thank you for being here, and we'll see you next year.
Thank you for coming.
Evening, sir. I am your sleeping car attendant. Looks like you're about the only one getting on. Can I take your bags?
Yeah, thanks. I brought my own sheets. I hope you don't mind. You guys don't starch them anymore. The smell of the starch helps me sleep. I know that sounds crazy, but...
No, doesn't sound crazy at all. Believe me, I wish we still starched them. Follow me, please.
Mm-hmm.